Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we'll be reviewing the Amplid memory stick. This board features Amplid's directional cruise camber, so you get rocker in the nose, camber underfoot, it's kind of slightly set back. That camber section is going to give you all the load, pop, snap, and drive, while that rocker in the nose is going to give you ease of entry in and out of turns, as well as a little bit more optimal powder float. This board's available in 148, 153, 156, 159, and 163. I rode this board at Copper Mountain on a day that was overcast skies, wind, grapple snow falling, chopped chunder, ice, death cookies, basically end of the day spring conditions, and I rode it with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. This board is stiffer than you think it would be for a directional twin, and what you get is a slightly softer nose that hits that flex point right where the rocker meets the camber, and then it just progressively stiffens back up through the tail. The torsional flex, it's there, it's not overly aggressive. This board, while you will feel kinetic energy coming up underfoot, actually does a great job of busting through crud and crust and staying stable. You never have to really worry that you're going to get bucked around with it. It's either going to plow through it or skip across the top of it. While the camber itself is easy to load up, you have to put a little bit more in to get average snap out of it. It's not the most responsive out there, so you're putting in a little bit more effort to get the same out of what you would get from another board that has an equal balance. With that said, it just means you've got to be a little more calculated when you hit a side hit or pop a roller. That's it. Otherwise, it's not the snappiest board, but it's consistent enough that you'll be able to get in the air. What I really like about this board is the lower tip kick in it. You're able to leverage it a lot easier than you think you would to just get a butter out of it, but it's stiffer, so you have to put in a little bit of muscle to get a solid press out of it. Obviously, the more you put in, the more it's going to press. Just expect it to have a little bit of fight. Wouldn't say it's the easiest thing to butter, but it's also not the hardest. The edge-to-edge power transmission on this board is smooth and fluid. The one thing that you've got to know about it though is you'll end up throwing your weight in your hip out through the front to drive this board more aggressively, just to steer it. Or you could not do that and be a little more laid back, but you're not going to get as deep or as aggressive of a carve. When you do lay this board over, you find that you're really working it, so you're driving from outside your hip on that front foot, cranking your back knee in, trying to apex the carve, and even then, you're still aggressively pushing off the tail to get it to slingshot through a turn. Like I said, you got to kind of work to carve with this board, but if you know how to carve, it's not going to be a problem. If you don't know how to carve, you might have some issues. Who's this board for? The slightly more freeride focused rider on a budget. So I ended up second guessing myself with this board on whether it was in the all mountain freestyle or the all mountain freeride category. And the more I rode it, the more I was like, I think this leans just a little more heavy in the freeride category than the freestyle side of things. Yes, it has some aspects that were really great for freestyle, but overall I think it's more like that budget freerider board. And that's fine. I like the lower tip kick in it. I like the camber profile. I like the fact that you got to kind of work a little harder to carve with it. It's not a bad board, but it's not going to be for everyone. Comparable boards: the Ride Smokescreen, the Nitro SMP, the Salomon Super 8. Binding recommendations: the Nitro Phantom, the Ride A8, the Union Atlas. This has been my review of the Amplid memory stick. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you going to buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.